pausing quite a lot. That should be a bit better. No, it's not at all. That should be better because it isn't buzzing, right? That'll do, that'll do. Sorry, I was just answering a text then. Right, so someone's on, don't know who it is. Hello. I don't even know if I'm going the right way anymore. Because I've literally just been following. You can just see where I've been coming from. So I came all the way from Las Vegas, all the way here. I'm gonna drive to about here, somewhere like that, I don't know. Just driving. Hello, whoever's on. Oops. It wasn't this busy before I started broadcasting, so I have no clue what's going on. Normally it's a lot more fun because there's other people to play with, but for some reason, no one wants to play the crew. I mean, I don't know why. It's a pretty fun game. It's more fun when you're just riding bikes and shit, so what other topic could I talk about? There's been a lot on TikTok going around about Charli D'Amelio and the D'Amelio family and Trisha Paytas. And yeah, Trisha Paytas is like 36, something like that, and Charli D'Amelio is 16. But even still, Trisha has put out a lot of points on her page saying a lot of stuff, saying that she's in the wrong, obviously, for acting like that and stuff like that. And then Trisha's getting hate for trying to educate someone. One of her videos, it showed that Trisha had done a lot of bad stuff in her life, aka, you know, fake being trans, this, that, the other. But I'm pretty sure she's gender neutral now, I'm not too sure. And Trisha's had a lot of hate for this, everyone knows that. Everyone wanted to cancel her because of coming out as trans when she wasn't. And faked it, basically. And but then there's also the Dixie side of it all. Dixie D'Amelio and the D'Amelio family. Dixie posted a video basically trying to make more excuses and trying to clear her name, which kind of just dug her further and further in. She basically said that her crew knew that if she smelled, tasted, anything like that, anything that's like weird, she would gag or throw up. So of course, I don't know what the backstory is for that, but she ends up throwing up, and then everyone finds it really disrespectful, especially Charli. I don't know who it was some rapper, and she asked him, "Who are you?" Like, she's obviously quite young, she doesn't know what's going on, she's my age, but that's what happens when you have a shit ton of following at such a young age. You end up becoming that what's the word? That disrespectful person. Like, we've seen it in a lot of cases, like Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber had a lot of following, but then he ended up being that dumb kid that everyone hated for no apparent reason, to be honest. And he got a lot of backlash. Demi Lovato, she became famous at a young age as well, and she had a lot of backlash, and she went into doing drugs because of her past and because of her past and everything like that. There's also Taylor Swift, who the social media made her feel disgusting, insecure, and she ended up becoming anorexic. And there is pictures of Taylor Swift at one of her concerts, and she is like a stick, and I mean a stick. So there's a lot of social media that people don't put out there, but social media is a thing where you can get hated on for no apparent reason, just like the LGBT community, racism, homophobia, you know, it's just the same. It's also the same with when someone says to you, I've had this before. So a few days ago, I messaged this lass telling her that she looks cute in one of her Instagram photos, and she tells me, sorry, I'm straight. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, are you trying to tell me that I'm not a man because I'm trans? And she goes, yeah, basically. And I mean, it's not homophobic to not want to date, it's not transphobic or homophobic to not want to date someone who's trans or anything like that. It's when you say homophobic things after they call you cute, this, that, the other. But that just kind of puts me off trying to like put myself out there again and try and find someone to date. Because normally, yeah, I look for people who are bi, you know, pan, or have dated trans people before. But, you know, there's a lot that made me think, why am I trying to limit myself to who I look for in a person? Like, because I want someone at the minute who I can go around to their house, cuddles, shit like that. But obviously COVID, it's a bit harder, innit? I don't actually know what I'm doing right now, I don't know where I am. So it is a lot harder for trans people to date, and people don't understand that. San Francisco. People don't understand the how much pain it is for us, because obviously we're going through our body and that being us being in the wrong body, but no one understands that. They just want to hate on us because they think it's wrong or they don't understand it. But most people who do hate on other people for their gender, sexuality, race, they're either jealous or they just don't understand. Like, they're a bit confused, especially gender and sexuality and religion as well. If someone doesn't understand religion, they can either act out or, you know, make jokes about it. But it's a lot different to people in the LGBT, because obviously we're getting a lot of hate for just random ass stuff. I'm just trying to live my life, and then people are calling me girls over anonymous accounts, stuff like that. But it's also a lot harder for us to find someone to date, especially they need to be accepting, understanding, supportive. Like, if we have one of our nights when we are dysphoric, then they're not going to understand, or it's going to be harder for us to talk to them because they don't understand, stuff like that, you know. But yeah, social media also puts a lot of impact on trans people, because there's obviously TikToks of cisgendered males dancing, and that makes us feel dysphoric. Well, it does for me anyway, because they've obviously got broader shoulders, broader hips, well, not broader hips, no hips, skinnier thighs. They can build muscle a lot better than what I can. Like, even though I work out almost every night, I've literally built no muscle. I do have the muscle, but it's not much. Where the bloody hell am I? Right, I'm gonna set a destination. This like live stream is basically me just ranting for a solid few minutes. So if you don't want to watch, I mean, it's already 9 minutes into the video and I'm still bloody ranting. So there's a lot of stuff going around the internet, especially to do with COVID, race, the D'Amelios. But what also I don't get is why people actually give a fuck. Like, sorry, I didn't know that I was living your life. You know, you get me? It's not their life to decide on what I do or someone else. But it's also the same with race. Like, I'm sorry, but they couldn't help where they were brought up or the colour of the skin. Like, they couldn't help it, yet you're being racist towards them. I mean, the problem, like, they can't even change it. Other than, I mean, Michael Jackson did. There's a lot of horoscopes about him. Well, not horoscopes, myths and legends about him dyeing his skin. Some people think he did, some people don't. But when they did the autopsy, they went round to the house and there was packets of, like, skin dye and stuff like that. So he may or may not have, but even still, who are we to tell him not to? He had vitiligo, which is a pigment, colour pigment in the skin, where it causes you to have patches of lighter skin than darker skin. I've got it on my stomach. It only comes for me in the summer because I've got quite pale skin anyway. And he obviously did not like that. I watched a documentary on him talking about it, and he said that when he posted Thriller, that's when he started using the makeup because of the fact that you could really see it. And yes, he did like have surgeries on his nose, this, that, the other. But even still, people are trying to call him a paedophile and this, that, the other. I've said this, that, the other quite a bit now, haven't I? Even though he was just trying to live his life as a music producer, like music star, artist. It's kind of just the idea of society runs a lot of things. Like, if you have an idea of something, like you believe something, and then social media says no, like that's not right. It's to say, like, here's an example: pineapple on pizza, ham and pineapple, Hawaii, whatever you want to call it. My opinion is that it's really nice. Like, it's so good because you get that contrast of the juicy and the savoury, you know. But because the internet tells us no, that it's not good, like you should not like it, then people get it in their heads that they can't eat it because, you know, society says not to. It's this, like another situation, girls wearing makeup. Girls start to feel insecure by not wearing makeup because society says, oh, beauty is makeup, beauty is pain, stuff like that. My nose is bunged up, sorry. So, people trying to tell you what to do in life is just strange, odd, it's just weird. I don't get why people want to do that. Like, I've never told someone, you should do this, you should do that, because it's not my life. I mean, yeah, your parents have told you don't smoke, don't drink, this, that, the other, but they're just looking out for you. But when strangers do it, that's just a petty excuse for them to either be jealous, this, that, the other, or anything. So, it's confusing to a lot of people, but I know a lot of people don't understand the whole transgender thing and the transitioning. So, I was citing history the other day, and I'm not going to put any names out because, you know, I don't want to. So we're going to call Anthony. Anthony was sat behind me, and he didn't understand the whole what happens. He read online that it's some sort of drugs, this, that, the other. So I kindly explained it to Anthony, and I basically said, it's to do with my head, like my brain. My brain thinks like a lad, but my body is a girl. So I explained the whole gender and sex as two completely different things. And at the end, he basically just said, I mean, like what I just said, it's not my life to tell you what to do. So he accepts it, obviously, like he don't mind, because he doesn't have a choice. Like, he doesn't have to live in that body. Hello to whoever's on. He didn't have to live in that body, whereas I do. So we were just talking, and he understood it pretty well, to be honest. He didn't really care. Not like he didn't care, it was more that he was more joined the waiting list in 2018. So it's confusing, it's difficult, but it is what it is. I am doing a terrible job of driving. I might have to switch to a car in a minute. So yeah, it is confusing, it's hard for me to understand, it's hard for other people to understand. Like when I first came out as trans, I didn't understand a thing of what was going on. I went back to being a lesbian at one point because I was like, is it going to be easier for me to just stay like this? But then, with a few months going by, I realised, damn, I hate my body. And in not just the way of being insecure, in the way of wanting to change it, like having a flat chest, having that deep voice. So it's difficult for everyone, especially family members, which some people just don't understand that. I'm obviously not being selfish, I'm trying to live my life as it is. I'm trying to change my name at the minute, but my dad's not sure about it, which is understandable because he picked my name. He and my mum picked my name. But yeah, so this has been 17 minutes long of me just ranting. So I'm going to end it here, because for some reason my voice is just going and I'm so confused. So have fun guys, I'll see you later.